Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, back with another black and white Pokemon analysis. Today we're going to be discussing the fertility Pokemon known as Landlos. So let's get started by taking a look at its typing, abilities, and stats. So first off, Landlos sports the ground flying typing, similar to Gligar and Gliscor, which in my opinion is actually some pretty good typing. Because of this, you get a 4 times weakness to ice, though, and a 2 times weakness to water, but you are immune to ground and electric, and you resist fighting, poison, and bug at the same time. So in my opinion, it's pretty good. But as for the abilities, the first one you get is known as Sand Strength, which is a pretty cool ability that increases the power of rock, ground, and steel type moves in a sandstorm. And since so far Sandstorm teams seem to be fairly common in this generation, I'm sure that this ability will definitely have its uses. As for its next ability, it's known as Encourage, which is its Dreamworld ability, and what it does is it boosts the power of moves that have a secondary effect attached to it, and then the secondary effect can never occur. So basically, a move such as Earth Power, this Pokemon uses, has a chance to get a special defense drop, but if you have the Encourage ability, um, the special defense drop cannot happen ever, but the power of Earth Power itself will be increased, which is really cool. And also, if you're using a Life Orb with Encourage and using a move that has increased power because of Encouraged, you will also not receive any Life Orb recoil, which is really great, and you will see how that plays out in a couple of sets of this video. But as for the stats, it has 89 HP coupled with 90 defense and 80 special defense, meaning that compared to the other two Pokemon like this one, it is actually significantly more bulky in terms of being able to take hits and things like that, which in my opinion is great. So you could definitely take hits from either the or physical side and make use of your pretty good HP as well. As for the attacking stats though, you have 125 physical attack and 115 special attack, which means that you could definitely make this Pokemon mixed or use either of those attacking types separately. Obviously, physical for this Pokemon will be more powerful than special, but they're still both equally viable and usable for this Pokemon. Lastly, its speed is at 101, which is actually less than the other two Pokemon like this one, so it's not going to be nearly as fast, but it's still a pretty high base speed stat, and definitely not anything to laugh at if you're trying to compare it to the other two, because just because it's slower doesn't make it any less useful. But with that, let's take a look at a few sets for this Pokemon. So first off, in this set, we're going to be giving Landlos a careful nature to increase its special defense but lower its special attack. And as for the ability, this time we're going to be using Sand Strength because we're going to hope that there's a Sandstorm up to allow you to do more damage with some of your attacking moves. But as for the EVs, we're going to put 252 into HP to give you max HP, 4 into defense, and then 252 into special defense to give you max special defense. And as for the item, we're going to be making use of leftovers to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn. As for the moves, the first one we're going to be making use of is Bulk Up as a way to increase our physical attack and our physical defense. And since we're going to be running max HP and max special defense, this is a great way to increase your power and make you able to take hits from either the special or physical side equally well. As for the moves, the first one we're going to be making use of is Earthquake, which will be your main stab move, and if there is a Sandstorm up, we'll get a boost from Sand Strength as well. So this has potential to do a ton of damage to anything that doesn't resist it or flying types that are immune to it. Up next we have Hammer Arm as a way to deal some very powerful fighting type damage, and since you are pretty slow due to the no EVs into speed, the 1 speed drop that you will get every time you use Hammer Arm really isn't that big of a deal for a set like this. And obviously with bulk ups and things like that, you'll be doing a lot of damage with it. As for the last move, you have really a choice between Stone Edge or Payback. Stone Edge gives you some different type coverage than Payback, obviously, and it also gets a boost in the Sandstorm, so that's great because of Sand Strength, but Payback is another move, obviously, that will probably be doing 100 power damage every time because you are slower than normal if you didn't put any speed EVs in, and hammer arm speed drops will also make your speed lower, and it will give you some different typing or different type coverage, which is being able to hit, psychic types and ghost types for super effective damage, which is always great. So it's really up to you which one you want to use, but I'm sure most people would go with Stone Edge if you're using a Sandstorm team just because of the attack boost that it gets because of Sand Strength. But that is it for this first set. As for this next set, it's pretty much just the special variant of the one you just saw. So we're going to give Landlos a Bold Nature to increase its physical defense and lower its physical attack. And then we're going to be using Sand Strength again, along with EVs into HP, 252 into physical defense this time, and then 4 for special defense. Item is also the same, and instead of Bulk Up, we're going to be making use of Calm Mind as a way to increase our special defense and special attack this time. And for the moves, Earth Power, Focus Blast, and Grass Knot will all be used as a way to make use of the Calm Mind special attacking boosts, as well as your bulk being increased because of the special defense boosts as well. So basically this is just the opposite of the first one, where you are attacking specially and having max physical defense and then boosting your special attack and special defense, as opposed to having max special defense and then boosting your physical attack and physical defense. So there's not really too much to say about this one, except for it's pretty much the same as the previous set. So let's take a look at the next one. So for this set, we're going to be giving Landlos an Adamant Nature to increase its physical attack but its special attack, and then we're going to be making use of its ability Encourage, which it gets in the Drew Build this time. As for the EVs, we're going to put 4 into HP, 252 into physical attack, and then 252 into speed to give you max physical attack and the highest speed you can get with an Adamant Nature. As for the item, we are going to be making use of a Life Orb to work in combination with Encourage to allow us to get increased power on our moves that have a secondary effect of occurring, or have a chance of a secondary effect occurring, and also not take Life Orb recoil because of it. But as for the moves, the first one we're going to be making use of is Rock Polish to increase our speed by 2 stages, thus making Landlos incredibly fast and difficult to even catch unless you have a priority move. As for the attacking moves though, we're going to be making use of Level Ground because it does have a secondary effect, which would be to lower your opponent's speed by 1 stage. So that will be gotten rid of by the ability Encourage, allowing Level Ground to be boosted in power, and then Life Orb obviously will also take effect, meaning that you can do a lot of damage with Level Ground and Life Orb without taking any recoil. And that's why we're going with this over Earthquake, because of the fact that I don't want to be taking damage from Life Orb. Earthquake would be more powerful though, obviously, but still this seems like a safer option to try and keep your HP up and not have to worry about other opponents' Life Orb stalling you out. As for the next move, we're going to be making use of Rock Slide because that also has a secondary effect, which is that to flinch. So Life Orb will then be used in combination with Encourage, again, to allow you to get increased damage on Rock Slide. Up next for your final move is either going to be Brick Break or U-Turn. U-Turn's great for scouting out. Unfortunately, though, you will take Life Orb recoil from using it, but it's still a pretty good move to use, and if that's the only move that you're taking recoil from, then it's really not that big of a deal. Brick Break, on the other hand, I'm not sure if the Encourage ability activates if there are screens up, so I'm not sure about that. But for the most part, you still won't be getting an Encourage boost from using Brick Break, but it's the only other attacking move that it gets that seemed to be the most usable in a situation of being a potential sweeping physical set. So Brick Break definitely will come in handy in a set like this. But with that, oh, actually, one more thing. Landlos does learn Swords Dance, so you could probably replace that with Rock Polish if you wanted to and use a Jolly Nature. But in my opinion, going with speed over power kind of is more important in my opinion, yeah. So that's just me. You're free to do whatever you want. As for this last set, it's pretty much, again, the special variant of the previous one. So first we're going to give Landlos a Modest Nature to increase its special attack but lower its physical attack, and again we're using the ability Encourage, along with 4 HP EVs, 252 special attack EVs, and 252 speed EVs, to give you max special attack and the highest speed you can get with a Modest Nature. Again, Life Orb will be being used in order to work in combination with Encourage. As for the moves, again, we are using Rock Polish to boost our speed, so that will make Landlost incredibly fast and very capable of dealing out damage before most other Pokemon, so that's always great. And then we're going to be making use of Earth Power as your main ground stab move this time, because of the fact that it will get a boost from Encourage, because Earth Power normally has a chance to lower your opponent's special defense. So because that won't be happening, you'll get the Encourage boost, and you'll also get increased damage from Life Orb without taking any recoil. Up next we have Focus Blast as your fighting type move, and that also will get Encourage and Life Orb boost with no recoil. And then lastly, we can either make use of Psychic or Sludge Wave. Psychic is a 90 base power Psychic type move that has a chance to drop special defense, so you won't have to worry about recoil for that. And Sludge Wave is a 95 power poison type move that has a chance to poison, so Encourage and Life Orb will also come in effect for that. So it's really just which move you want to use. Obviously, you're also welcome to use any hidden powers on this set, but they won't get the Encourage boost and will allow you to take Life Orb recoil. So that's where I didn't put them. But other than that, I feel like the special set is probably better than the physical one in the sense that you don't have to worry about Life Orb recoil from anything, and you get a powerful fighting type move along with it that will get the boosts. But that is it for Landlost. I think this is the first video where I ever put 4 sets in, but because of the fact that all of them are really similar, it's more like 2 sets, just the physical and special side. But other than that, that is it, guys, so take care and goodbye.